first want to just give you a little bit of background. I'm Marjorie Russakoff. I started this team in 2007. There had not been a speech team at Mount Desert Island High School since the 70s when Joyce Higgins did do a speech team and a speech class. So I was very happy to be able to begin the team. I began the team with 4 kids. It wasn't going to be a team. It was just going to be a club. But I mentioned that it was possible for us to go and compete because there were meets in other parts of the state. And when I mentioned that casually, they all leaned forward and they said, "What could we win?" And I said, "Well, there are trophies." "Trophies? How big are they?" And so that's how we became a club, a team instead of a club. And it was really wonderful. They were very dedicated, and I was fortunate to have some really talented people, and we actually won the state championship in our 2nd year. So that was quite amazing. Perhaps never to be repeated, but very wonderful, and I feel grateful to have been part of that experience. This activity is all about reading text closely. It's all about oral interpretation, literature appreciation, understanding the nuances of human communication, considering new ideas, and learning how to express your own ideas more effectively. It's really not about giving speeches, even though speech team is what this thing is called. The students who do this are not necessarily the born for the stage kind of kids, although some of them are. Kids with all kinds of challenges can gain from this experience, and I welcome everyone's participation and contribution to this. I frequently have adults approach me and admit that they're afraid to speak in public, and they've been afraid to speak in public for their entire lives. I hope that the influence of something like this can allow this generation to not have to continue with those fears for the rest of lives. This team is now in its 4th year. This team is comprised of 10 students. This is my largest team yet. We now compete in many categories: prose, poetry, duo, ensemble work, dramatic interpretation, and extemporaneous speaking. You'll get to see most of those categories tonight. This past December, our school hosted a Maine Forensics Association sanctioned competition. That's a very big deal. It required a lot of work from many of the parents who are here, and I'm grateful for all the community support that led to make that happen. Tonight's presentation serves as the warm-up for one more competition, which is essentially, I guess, a regional competition, and then our state competition. So some of the pieces that you will see are very, very new to these students. That might be obvious. It might not. We don't know. Some of these presentations have had the benefit of more rehearsal. You'll see this team observe certain conventions. They're going to be reading from scripts, most of them. The pieces will have introductions, which either they have written or I have helped them write. And if the presentation is an official speech, it will be presented at a lectern. So before we begin, I just want to remind everybody to turn off or power down cell phones and pagers. And while someone is presenting, if you would please keep your seats, but if you need to leave for any reason, feel free to do so in between presentations. And I really thank you for being here.